Here today with some handstand adjustments. So find a partner. These are all of the most clutch handstand adjustments to help you find your best alignment in your handstand. So we'll start. Caveman here is going to be my handstander, whom I will be adjusting. So we'll start with a simple handstand adjustment. We're gonna move from the easiest handstand adjustments to the most challenging. So for the first handstand adjustment, we'll come into a shortened downward facing dog with one leg extended. Go through some quick checkpoints. Make sure the hands are just shoulder distance apart. Press firmly through the index finger and thumb knuckles. Spiral the eyes of the elbows in towards midline. Roll the biceps forward. Broaden across the traps. Knit the floating ribs together and in like you're wearing an energetic corset. And re-extend out through the sits bones. We're really melting the heart towards the thighs so we have a nice straight line through the arms and the rest of the spine. Now one leg extends up. Again, the left side for the purposes of this demo. My right shoulder is coming underneath the left shin. Again, vice versa. If I was adjusting the other leg, my left shoulder would be coming underneath the right shin. He's gonna literally just press his shin into my shoulder and ascend the other leg up. Right, so he's utilizing essentially my whole skeletal frame as another source of rooting and rebounding information to ascend up into the handstand. Now sometimes the teacher will recommend coming into a tuck with the other leg. Anytime you go into a tuck, it's very illuminating in terms of where your hips are in space. So we always want to stack the hips directly over the shoulders. So you can come into a tuck leg position as well with that other leg. And then slowly lowering it back down. Amazing. Release back to ground. So for this next adjustment, your handstander will come into plank pose, top of a push-up. Again, same thing. Press firmly through the index finger and thumb knuckle, spiral the eyes, elbows in towards midline. Press the space up in between the shoulder blades, knit the floating ribs together and in. And we're going to imprint adduction and abduction. So I'm coming into a goddess squat around the legs. I can scoop up his shins and bring them to an elevation, much like a planche pose. Assisted planche, very much assisted planche. So adduction, that means he's gonna be pulling his feet in towards midline. I'm gonna try and pull his feet apart. So I'm gonna work in the exact opposite direction, trying to pull your feet apart. Adduction imprinted. Now I'm gonna try and push his legs together and he's gonna push out. Abduction imprinted. Find a nice even balance. I can also release a hand, see if that leg stays hovering. All right, now piking up to lift up. I can straighten through the legs and raise my hands. So again, we want to make sure as we're adjusting that we're not putting ourselves in harm's way. I'm getting a workout too. Lowering down, I'm going to come into a little bit of a squat. Wide-legged squat. Then pressing up, lifting up, straightening through the legs. Let those hips stack. Even more. Yeah, there you go. Once more, lowering down into plank pose. And then roll it up to stack. So really crucial, if your handstander maintains planche, lowering back down. Whew. Meaning that they don't allow their hips to stack over their shoulders. They keep their shoulders beyond their wrists. It becomes impossible, right? They might start going into a wheelbarrow if you keep your shoulders beyond the wrists. You have to, at some point, allow the straight line so you can come into the stack. This is a good one. Really good core. Really, really good core. Yeah. Actually, could I get a couple?
Yeah, totally.
So for this next handstand adjustment, you'll see this oftentimes in yoga classes when teachers roam about the class and catch legs and help their students to align. So I'm going to break down this very common handstand adjustment. I'm going to come to the side of the leg that's extended. So makes it easier for me to catch Cademan's thigh as he hops. I'm going to clamp down on the thigh with both hands and squeeze the thigh. Then bring him into his line. So go ahead and hop. He kicks towards himself as he hops. I'm squeezing the thigh, bringing him into a straight line so that he can draw the other leg up to meet it. right? I have the outsider's perspective so I can actually see what his straight line is. Then I can bring my middle finger and my thumb to his quads and to his calves, and I press them together so you can find this channel of energy and grow tall in it. Now from here, I can bring my hand into in between the legs, remind him to squeeze my hand, and I can free up this hand, use this hand to adjust, reminding Caedmon to knit the floating ribs together and in. Another little adjustment that I've seen, and normally you'll be gazing between the thumbs, but if you're working towards your chin lock, I can actually step behind Caedmon. Again, here I can squeeze his thighs together with both hands, and I can press my femur bone onto the back of his thoracic spine. Ask your handstander to tuck the chin, and then press the thoracic spine into the femur bone. Again, hands are still on thighs, so I can still remind him to grow tall, and then slowly inch away. Coming down. So for this next handstand adjustment, go ahead and straighten out. I'm going to walk behind Caedmon. This is the straddle press adjustment. Yes, you can straddle press. I'm going to walk my legs wide and bow my knees in so that he can press his shoulders into my thighs. Now my hands can come as he lowers in a straddle pike into his hip creases, and I can pull his hips towards me as I press my thighs into his shoulders, and then pull his hips towards me and press his shoulders back into alignment as he ascends back up. So again, I'm helping him to create compression here so that he can roll his spine as much as possible. As he gets to the bottom, I do allow his shoulders to go beyond his wrists so he can come into a little bit of a planche. There's always a little tiny bit of a planche on the ascent as you're leaving the ground. One more, you got one more in you? You can do it, you can do it. So again, I'm allowing his shoulders to go beyond his wrists, and then I'm pressing them back into that line with my thighs as he ascends back up into his handstand. Nice. So again, it's a lot easier to work the controlled descent. You can map your course and find the most efficient ascent. So Caedmon will hop up. We're going to do the crow press, which you can do with an adjuster. We'll do Straddle Press for another video. So that one does necessitate quite a bit more flexibility. But you can do this if you don't have flexibility, no worries. Caedmon is going to squeeze my hand. I'm bringing my hands to the napes of his knees. You might get a little head bonk, it's okay. So he's going to squeeze my hands, lock them in. Again, same position of the thighs for the straddle press. Just bowing my knees in so that he can make contact with his shoulders. I lower his knees down and then press his thighs towards his abdomen for that extra compression. Yeah, handstanders, make sure you're engaging your pelvic floor, mula bandha. Lower and lift. Nice. Regrip, regrip. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So I'm pressing his thighs directly into his abdomen as I allow his knees to come down, and then press his thighs back towards his abdomen to rise back up. Nice. And down. Woohoo! Yeah.
Gosh. Sorry to knock you on the head.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, I was also going to mention handstanders, if you don't want to be terribly embarrassed, firm pelvic floor, you can do it so you don't accidentally let out some gas. It's always the worst place to get
Wait, I didn't do
a
that,
fart.
right?
No, you didn't. Okay. You didn't. You did great. But sometimes it does happen as a yoga instructor. It comes with the territory. You're going to get your handstand super solid in no time. And yeah, max out the crow press adjustments because that's how we build strength. Again, teamwork makes the dream work.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks.